Module 3, flexural strength of pre-tensioned concrete structure. So, in Module 3, the theory question are like this. What are the different type of flexural failure observed in PSC member, and explain with neat sketch. Okay, what are the different type of flexural failure? So, when pre-stressed concrete member are subjected to bending loads, the different types of structural failures are possible at critical cross section, depending upon the following factors. So, in a pre-stressed concrete, these are the following cases. The flexure failure will be occurs. The first case is percentage of reinforcement in a concrete section or percentage of reinforcement in a section. Second one is degree of bond between tendon and concrete. Degree of bond between whatever you tendon means the whatever the reinforcement they provided, and the concrete, the bond between concrete and steel. Third one is compressive strength of the concrete. Compressive strength of the concrete, whatever the compressive strength of the concrete they given in a pre-stressed concrete. And fourth one is ultimate tensile strength of the tendon. So what is the provided tendon bars like steel, what is the strength of the steel depends upon the this criteria, the failure of the flexure will be occurs. So these are the various type of flexure failures are encountered in a PSC member. So I already listed here. The first one is fracture of steel in tension, failure of under reinforcement or under reinforcement section, failure of over reinforced section, shear failure, failure of bond between steel and surrounding concrete, and last one is anchorage failure. So I'll explain in details. The first one is fracture of steel in tension. So normally the fracture of steel in tension will occurs when you provide the type of concrete or steel is less than the required steel or concrete. So suppose the concrete required M20 grade concrete and all the precious concrete. If we provided lesser than M25, M20, then failure will occurs. Okay, that's why the sudden failure of PSC member without any warning in generally due to fracture of steel in tension zone. This type of failure take place due to provision of low percentage of steel than the required section. If you provide the low percentage of steel, if you provide the required steel is something is the required steel is I assume they want Fe415 or Fe500. If you provide lesser than steel provided, lesser grade or lesser percentage of steel, then this failure fracture of steel tension will be occurs because of less amount of steel in a concrete in the tension zone cracks, and all the loads are transferred to the steel in a tension zone. All the loads are transferred to the steel in a tension zone, but steel cannot bear any additional tensile stress transferred to its by the cracked concrete. Suppose if you taking the steel the tensile stress will be transferred to its cracked concrete, but it not steel will cannot bear additional tensile stress because steel already taking some load. If you provide more than tensile strength, it will be the steel or the concrete section will be cracks, and ultimately the PSC member fails due to fracture of steel. Yes. IS 1343/1980 explain the minimum longitudinal reinforcement of 0.2 percentage of the cross-sectional area to prevent this failure. So normally in IS code only they mention that 0.2 percentage of the cross-section area to prevent the failure. 0.2 percentage whatever the cross-section. Suppose the cross-section is 400 to 200 whatever something. 0.2 percentage of this cross-section of that area will be prevent by the longitudinal reinforcement. So you have to provide the minimum longitudinal reinforcement is 0.2 percentage. So if you provide HY high tensile HYSD bar, if you provide the HYSD bar, then the minimum percentage of steel is required 0.15 percentage. This 0.15 and 0.2 is already described in IS code book. So you have to provide this type of percentage of steel. So second failure is failure of under reinforced section. So the see the load will be acting here. The equivalent force will be provided, or it will be acting in upward direction. The load will be acting in downward direction, and this will be cracked portion of that beam. Failure of under reinforced section. So normally when the amount of steel provided in a section is less than the required for balance the section, the failure take place by excessive elongation of the steel. So normally this type of failure will be occurs elongation of the steel and followed by the crushing of the concrete. Normally the failure will be occurs crushing of the concrete. As the bending loads are increased, the elongation of the steel shift to natural axis towards the compression side. The member approach failure due to gradual reduction of compression zone. The member approach the fracture of the compression zone, exhibiting the large deflection and wide cracks which developed at subpart of the beam. The progress towards the compression phase when the area of the concrete in a compression zone is insufficient. So he say when the area of the concrete, suppose the area of the concrete in a compression zone is insufficient. If you provide that compression zone required some amount of um, um, compressive force. If you provide insufficient compressive force, then ultimate flexure failure of the member will be take place through the crushing of the concrete. Normally, this type of failure, the second type of failure of under reinforced section due to crushing of the concrete, and large deflection and wide cracks are characteristics features of the under reinforced section at failure are explained here. Normally, the failure of under reinforced section is due to crushing of the concrete. See, the crushing of the concrete, the failure of under reinforced will be happens. And third one is failure of over reinforced section. Failure of over reinforced section. These are the see here the natural cracks are provided at the below the PAC member. These are the section in which the amount of steel provided is more than the required for the balance section. So normally in under reinforced section we are see the previous one is under reinforced section. Here we are lack of concrete or insufficient concrete. Here over reinforced. The name only describe that over. We are if we provide the over amount of steel or concrete provided, this type of failure will be happens. Generally, the over reinforced PAC member fails by the sudden crushing of the concrete. Small deflection and narrow cracks are the characteristics failure or features of the over reinforced section at failure. The area of the steel at being comparatively large, the stress developed in a steel at failure stage may not reach at the tensile strength of the steel. In a structure, concrete the member under desired or in that to have a sudden failure without any warning in the form of excessive deflection and widespread cracks, and it will be treated as the over reinforced section. See here, the normally this will be this type of failure will be occurs in a over reinforced section when you provide the excess amount of steel or concrete for if you provide excess amount of steel, this type of failure will be occurs. And the fourth one is already shear failure. Shear failure will be this type of section are not adequately designed for shear. The sectional failure by shear before full flexure strength is attained. If you are not attain the full flexure strength, this type of shear failure will be happens. And fifth one is failure of bond between steel and surrounding concrete. The bond between steel and concrete is not up to the mark, or it is not bonded well, then this type of failure will be happens in a end of the pre-tensioned PAC member. And last one is anchorage failure. This type of failure may be take place if the end block is not properly designed in a post-tension member to resist the transverse tensile strength. Already anchorage failure means if the end block of the PAC member is not designed properly in post-tension member, it is not taking the end block will not taking the excess load. That's why this type of failure will be happens. These are the theory question they'll ask in exam, and what is the design procedure I'll explain. In module 3, in design process, these following steps are adopted to find the amount of moment of resistance of PSC member when it is subjected to bending loads. So, in module 3, design of section of flexure failure, there will be 4 cases. Based on 4 cases, we have some formula in IS code book. You have to follow the IS code book. So, first case is the moment of resistance of pre-tensioned and post-tensioned bonded rectangular section. So first case is here already they mentioned bonded and rectangular section. Bonded and rectangular section. So first step is to find the effective reinforcement ratio. To find the effective reinforcement ratio, the formula is here AP FP divided by BD into FCK. Here AP indicate area of pre-tensioning tendon. Area of pre-tensioning tendon. D is the effective depth. XU is the natural axis depth, and MB is the moment of resistance, and FPU is the ultimate tensile stress in a tendon. So this formula is available in a code book IS 1343 1980 or 2012. This is updated version, but in your college or in exam they'll ask old question, old code book only. You have to refer 1980. This is the 2012 version. The page number is 59. I already attached that page number in below the PDF file. Okay, you have to refer 1980 code book. This is the first step. Just substitute all the values here, and you will get the effective reinforcement ratio. And second step for the above effective reinforcement ratio. The above effective reinforcement ratio, you have to find the FPU. You have to find the FPU divided by 0.87 FP and XU divided by D from the table number 11 of IS 1343 1980, and then you have to find the unknown value of FPU and XU. But this will be you will get the ratio from the code book, and you have to find these two unknown by using table number 11 IS code book 1343. So if you want, I'll show the code book in page number 11. See, if it is bonded means you have to refer the table number 11. Remember, if it is bonded means you have to refer the table number 11. So all the formula is there, no need to worry. See here, this is table number 11. In table number 11, what to find already is there. See, AP FP divided by BD into FCK. What in exam? No need to memorize this formula. Already is there in here. After this, whatever you getting the ratio, you have to compare this ratio here. See here, this whatever you getting the ratio is here. Based on this ratio, if it is a pre-tensioning member, you have to compile here. If it is a post-tensioning, you have to compile here. And to find the XU by D, you have to take the same ratio, and you have to find the pre-tensioning and post-tensioning ratio here. So already is there here. See here, unknown value you have to find FPU divided by this and XU by D. Unknown value is XU by D. So whatever the XU by D ratio corresponding to this effective reinforcement. But it is there in your code book. No need to memorize this formula and all. So just substitute the values. Okay, fine. After finding this two unknown, so after finding this XU and FPU, so XU value you have to compare. Okay, so if XU value, whatever you calculated from the above formula, if the XU value is lesser than the depth of the flange in concrete, if the given depth of the flange is total depth, overall depth, to find the moment of resistance in a flange section, you have to use this formula. So this formula is also available in code book. So this formula is moment is equal to FPU AP into D minus 0.42 into XU. This formula is available in a code book. So first case is available in a code book if they given in a rectangular section. If suppose you calculate the XU value, this XU value is greater than depth of the flange. If the XU value is greater than the depth of the flange, then you have to again calculate the APF and APW. But you have to calculate APF and APW. So you have to calculate the area of the flange and area of the web again. This is the to find the moment of resistance if the value of XU is greater. If the XU value is greater, then only you have to calculate APF and APW, area of the flange and area of the web. This is the new value of APF and APW. So what is the formula APF? So APF formula is here. APF is equal to 0.45 FCK into B minus BW into DF divided by FP, and APW is equal to whatever you calculate the total area of the tendon, you have to minus with this above APF. So APW area of the web is equal to total area of the steel, this AP. The AP indicate, you already know, I explained. AP is equal to area of pre-tensioning tendon, area of the steel, have to minus with the above value, you will get APW. And after the final step is, again you have to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio. So already you calculate the above first one, see, AP into FP divided by BD into FCK, same formula is there, but you have to take the new value, whatever you calculated here, APF and APW, you have to substitute here. You have to substitute new effective reinforcement APW and FP, then again you have to calculate the ratio, and again you have to refer the code book. Again you have to calculate the new effective reinforcement from the table number 11, and again you have to calculate XU and FPU. After this calculating both the values, these are the formula. This formula you have to remember in exam. If you don't know this formula, then you can't calculate the moment of resistance. So formula to calculate moment of resistance is equal to, in a rectangular section is, this formula. First case is this. After calculating the XU value for it, I jump to the next page. So for the rectangular section, this formula is available in codebook. So rectangular section, the formula is M is equal to FPU into AP into D minus 0.42 into XU. This formula is available in a codebook, page number 59. For the rectangular section, easy. Only one, you have to calculate the ratio, then calculate the unknown value, then this is moment of resistance formula for rectangular section. So second case is here, the moment of resistance of pre-tensioning and post-tensioning bonded flange section. The previous one is rectangular section. Here flange section, maybe it is a T section or I section or other than both section. So the procedure is same. First you have to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio. After calculating the effective reinforcement ratio, you have to calculate the XU by D and FPU divided by 0.87 into FP. This value can be calculated. This is bonded section. First and second case is bonded, then you have to refer table number 11 IS codebook 1343. Table number 11 IS codebook 1343. After calculating, again same, if you have to compare XU value, if XU value is lesser than DF, then you have to calculate the moment formula. Moment is equal to FPU into AP into D minus 0.42 into XU. This is the formula to calculate the, if the value XU is lesser than DF. If the XU value is greater than DF, already explained, XU value is greater than DF, you have to calculate again new APF and APW. What is APF? AP is the area of the flange, new area of the flange, and area of the web. So area of the flange calculated formula is 0.45 FCK B minus BW into DF divided by FP, and APW is equal to whatever you calculate total area of the steel minus the previous APF. If you minus the total area, you will get APW. So after calculating these two value, again you have to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio. New effective reinforcement ratio, you already calculated the previous effective ratio. This formula, you already know this formula. Here the two values you have to replace, AP and FP. Instead of AP and FP, you have to introduce the new value. You already calculated the new values here. The new value is APF and APW. You have to substitute here. After this, again the same step. You have to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio and table number 11 IS codebook. After finding the new values, we get the XU value. Then you have to calculate the moment of resistance for flange section. This is the formula you have to remember for the examination point of view. So what is the formula? Moment is equal to FPU APW into D minus 0.42 into XU plus 0.45 FCK into B minus BW into DF into small d minus DF divided by 2. So in exam, you have to remember this formula. If it is a flange section, Okay, remember flanger means if it is a T or I section, you have to remember this moment formula. Okay, if it is a rectangular section, then you have to no need to remember this formula is available in a code book. This is rectangular section. These two case, these two the two cases are bonded section. Remember, the two cases are bonded section, and third cases is moment of resistance of unbonded rectangular section. So remember, if they given unbonded, so if they given unbonded, you have to refer table number 12. You have to refer table number 12. Remember, in exam, if they ask for unbonded section, see bonded. The bonded section you have to refer table number 11, and unbonded section you have to refer table number 12 in IS code book 1343 2012 or 1980. So we'll provide in exam 1980 code book. Okay, the first step is same. You have to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio. Here we'll get AP into FPE divided by BD into FCK and L by D ratio. So they'll give the length of the span of the beam. So divided by D, you have to calculate. After this, you have to find the unknown values is FPU divided by FPE and XU divided by D from the table number 12. After finding this unknown value, you have to calculate the moment formula. The moment formula is same for rectangular section, for unbonded also and bonded also. Here, moment is equal to FPU into AP into D minus 0.42 into XU. So, whatever it may be for third and fourth case, it is unbonded. Then you have to refer table number 12. That is, and the remaining procedure will be same. See, for the fourth one case is moment of resistance of unbonded flanger section unbonded. So unbonded means the procedure will be same here. See here, you have to refer this and unknown value. If it is XU is greater than DF, what is the formula? The formula remains same. If the XU is greater than DF, you have to again revise this section, and again you have to calculate FPU divided by FPE and all. So I'll show the unbonded section. This is bonded. See the table number 12. The table number 12 is used for unbonded section. So in unbonded section, whatever the unknown you have to calculate already is there here. See AP into FP divided by BD into FCK. Whatever you getting the ratio here, and you have to compare this ratio with L by D formula. So what is the effective span divided by effective depth? Whatever you calculate in the effective span divided by effective depth, L by D. So whatever you're getting the L by D, you have to compare. If it is getting 30, 20, 10, you have to refer this for this. And if it is a 30, 20, 10 for effective reinforcement ratio. And this is the unknown values you have to calculate. FPU divided by FP and XU divided by D. Whatever the unknown value you have to calculate already is there. So suppose AP, FP divided by BD into FCK, you will get the value 0.05. If you're getting the 0.05, effective span divided by effective depth ratio is 20. Then you have to compare this 0.5 and 1.32 value. The 1.32 value for FPU divided by FP, and XU by D value is again 20. You have to compare 0.5 and value is 0.16. How to see the value in code book? You got it right. You have to refer this table number 12 for unbonded. For bonded section, you have to refer for table number 12. You have to read the question and answer the following in exam end up. Okay, these are the theory question will be asked in exam in module 3.